Tonight, we are going up against Satan's gate. I'm a little concerned, man, about your salvation and stuff. How come you have not been baptized?
Because I never got around to it, okay? I don't know why you always have to be judging me. Because I only believe in science.
Welcome to Hispanerds. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hispanerds. This is Alex.
This is Kengi.
And we are here to talk about the episode 5 of Loki. My brain just blanked out. All of a sudden, I was like, we're going to talk about episode 6. I'm like, no. That's not till next week. And we're also going to be talking some Black Widow, but not in this episode. It'll be on our Monday episode. For this episode, it's going to be Loki and just a couple other things that we got going on that we've been observing.
For sure.
And we're going to go through some Easter eggs as well for this particular episode. But before that, how's everything going with you, brother?
I'm just sore.
Did you finally work out them legs?
I did, man. I mean, I've been working on them. I did some last week, but this yesterday, we went heavy duty with weights and doing squats of all types, and man, it hurts to like duck.
Yeah.
You're saying you hurt your hip,
dude. I went running yesterday, and so I typically do 5 miles. Is my that's kind of always been my goal, so I stick with that. And yesterday, the first mile was fine. Then the second mile, I got like a little bit of a little twinge on the side, on the outside of my leg, but where my hip is.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I can work through this. And so there's a couple stops that I have to do along the way because of lights,
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something about that my son and we think is like ridiculous. It's funny, but it's ridiculous. But anyway, so I'm like running my second mile, and I'm like feeling that little twinge. So I kind of took it a little bit easier, and I know what did it. I changed my pace. So I was like, I sped up a little bit, but I was running in a way where I was like counting in my head. I was like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
You pulled the animatrix.
Yeah, and then my third mile, I felt pretty good. Like everything I'm like, oh, it worked itself out, right?
Yeah.
So I could open up a little bit. So and honestly, it was dumb me. I was trying to beat my time for Monday. So on Monday, I did all.
I thought you were gonna say like I'm trying to beat my son.
No, that ain't never. I'm realistic, son. I'm realistic about that. No, I was trying to beat my own time. So I had done 5 miles in an hour, and when I was running consistently before that, I could probably do 5 miles in about 54 minutes.
Yeah.
Like 50 minutes even if I was really going pretty good.
Yeah.
Which is still slow, but pretty good for me and for my age and everything. And so I'm like, oh, you know what? I bet you I could beat my hour long time. So I opened up a little bit, started going a little bit, and then I started feeling it again, and I did not listen to it. And what I should have done is I should have stopped, should have clocked off my thing like I'm done for running, and then just walked the rest of the way home. But I'm like, nah, it's just pain. I can push past this, and nah, it got worse and worse and worse because basically what happened was I pulled something on
for sure.
on the side,
yeah.
And so I had to stop at mile 4 and at 4.5 miles. At 4.5 miles, and I was like, dude, I just got half a mile left to go, and I'm done with 5 miles. But nah,
Yeah.
I listened to it. So my son's got one of those,
The massagers.
yeah, the massage guns. So last night when we were watching Loki, I used that. I was like, yeah, just taking care of everything. And I knew I was going to be stiff this morning and sore because it's the day after the workout,
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about it. And in fact, I think by Monday I'll be fine. So I'll just do weights until then.
Man, I was supposed to go start my jogging last week.
Yeah.
Literally.
Oh, that's right. We were talking about that.
But I hanged out with our old cast members.
Yeah.
And well, I was over there. I had like a drink, and I was telling Joe and Ricardo and Jess, I'm like, I'm not drinking no more because like I want to wake up tomorrow morning to go jogging. So
Yeah.
So from round one, which is a cool spot, I've never been to round one.
I didn't even know. I don't know what that is.
So round one is kind of like a Spencer's. No,
Oh.
I'm sorry, not Spencer's.
Yeah, 'cause that's
that's a store.
Yeah.
Dave and Buster's.
Yeah.
It's like a Dave and Buster's, but this one has a bowling
Oh, okay.
thing, and it's pretty
Okay.
cool. It's close to the block around that area. I
Oh,
don't think
okay,
it's called
okay.
the block
Yeah, yeah,
anymore. I
yeah,
think it's
yeah.
like that. It's called something
Yeah,
else.
that's
But
where. Yeah.
I went to go watch. Yeah. So from there, they closed early, like around 10:30, I think. So we went to Dave and Buster's, which closed a little bit later.
Okay.
So there, I had another drink, and I was just like, all right.
Borracho.
No, so I'm like, okay, now I'm cutting it right here because I know my limit. Because we're gonna drive and stuff. But then some of the girls, they've been wanting to go dancing. They want to go like hit up the clubs, and I'm like, oh, I miss going to a club and dance.
And stuff's open now, so.
Yeah, exactly. So there was one that closed at 2 a.m, and I was just that was not in my agenda that we were gonna do this. So we end up going. We're like me and I think her name is Ros. She's a cast member that I don't remember quite well.
Right. It's all good.
Yeah,
it's all
but she rode with me because I didn't know the location. And when we get there, we're waiting for Ricardo and the rest of them, but they're still taking a while. But so we get to the line. The line's pretty long.
Yeah.
And so they're asking, "Is your whole party here?" And I'm like, "No, we're still waiting for them." So they just had us at the sign, and the bouncer was just telling me that once you arrive, just let me know, and we'll get you in. So people are going in, and it's packed. I mean, the outside was packed. We don't even know how the inside looks.
Oh, no.
So then they finally get there like 20 minutes later, and I'm like, hey, our group is here now. And then one of the main guys that works there comes up to the bouncer, and he's like, are they going in? And he's like, yes, it's like 5 of them. And he's like, all right, they're the last ones. Cut it. And there was like a long line behind us, too. So we just made it in. And so we're getting there, man. And literally, man, we were like sardines in a can. It was shoulder to shoulder. Nobody's wearing, which felt good. Like no one's wearing a mask. It feels like normal. But man, you looked inside and I'm like, oh, there's no way we're going inside. It was just packed.
That's insane.
Packed. So we're outside and we're just.
That's insane.
So we did like about an hour and a half before they closed. Broke down a sweat and everything, and then said like our goodbyes or whatever. But yeah, that following morning, man, there was no way I was gonna go jogging, and that messed up my whole weekend because I threw myself off.
Right.
Because I didn't go to sleep until like 4 a.m.
Right. Yeah.
So I was just like, so I'm hoping today, like in the evening, I'm gonna go for a jog.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But man, it's crazy how like our bodies, like I know they get stronger the more you work out and they're able to lift more, but it's crazy how fast it does it. Because last week when we were talking, I told you how I was bench pressing now. Like my normal weight should be the 245s plus the 45s. So when I was doing that last week, I was able to do it by myself 7 times.
And without a spot or whatever. Yeah.
And my goal is to do 10, but 4 times, like a set of 4. But my cousin was helping me out to do the rest. And so yesterday, I'm like, all right, because I did chest as well. I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. But my cousins were there, and I'm just gonna do it. I know I can lift it now. So I started lifting. I passed 7. I'm like, what? Passed 8. Got to 9. I'm barely struggling, and then I hit the 10. I'm just like, I got excited. I'm like, I did 10. So I go to my cousin, I'm like, I can't believe it. I did 10. And then my other cousin's like, yeah, I can't believe it either. Like, did you see it? I didn't see it. So then
that's funny.
So then I went back because my cousin told me, yeah, like I did yesterday, and I was able to do 10. And then I went to 9, 7, 8. I couldn't do 10 again. So I'm like, I'm going to go back. I'm going to see if I could do another 10. Did 10 again. And so my cousin's like, oh, you did 10 twice? I'm like, yeah. So he said, like, he didn't do it as well. But after that, I just did 8 and 9. But it's just crazy how last week I wasn't able to lift that, and then now I'm just like, it felt like nothing. It's crazy how our bodies react, man.
Yeah. Well, that's like with my cardio. Once I started doing 5 miles again, my body goes, oh yeah, we remember like how to do this, so we'll get you there. And it's the same thing with like diet. Like once you stop eating a bunch of terrible stuff,
right?
Like I had gone back up for a little bit.
Yeah.
And not, I was nowhere near like where I started when I first started all this. So I was like 270 pounds. So that was never going to happen. I wasn't going to head back there.
Right.
But I did kind of just get lax and just was doing whatever.
Yeah. You got comfortable.
Anyway, I just disciplined myself, back a couple weeks ago and really started managing what I was eating again and just watching my calories. And I'm back down into my 20s now, like my 220s.
Oh, okay.
And it just happened like that. I mean, it was so fast because my body's like, yeah, we know what to do here.
Right.
And as long as I put in the work, and it's not even like it's that, it's not even like it's that crazy. Like the like working out, I typically only do about 30 minutes unless I go running. That takes an hour to do 5 miles. But if I'm doing weights or whatever, it's pretty quick. But yeah, your body just goes, hey, we remember how to do this, and then boom, gets it done. And honestly, for me, I talk about it with my wife every once in a while. Like, one of the main things is I just don't want to be 50, 60, 70
struggling,
and not even struggling, but I don't want to have like obligation for my children when they're adults to have to like need to help me to do things that I could have prevented now. So that's my main thing, is like, if I can do something about my life now,
you want to be preventative
to get to the place where like I'm a 70-year-old grandparent and we go on hikes or we go to an amusement park, that they're not having to worry about me, or that I'm having to get a wheelchair or whatever. So
you're gonna be passing your grandsons. You're like,
yeah, that's right. I'd be like, yeah, let's go. So that for me, it's all about preventative maintenance for the future.
Yes.
Just like making sure that I'm healthy, everything's working right, I'm strong enough to get around.
Yeah.
And ultimately, no matter what, as you get older, you're gonna become a burden. That's what's gonna happen, because the breakdown of the body.
Not me.
I know you'd be like that 120-year-old man or whatever. Dude, that guy hurt my feelings when I sent you that. Like, his face is all sunken in, and he's just like old, like he was like walking mummy old.
He was a raisin.
I said, I'm not looking for that. I'm not, like, if I were to get to 100, I would want to get up to 100 where I'm not, just.
You know what he got? It's just like he lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, just like ripped. His face is all like that, but he takes his shirt off. He's like shredded like Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
But anyway, so all that aside, let's get into Loki.
Go for it. Let's do it.
So, episode 5. A lot of things got shown on this episode. Advancing the story. To me, this was one of the more frustrating episodes.
Really?
For me, yeah. And not because I didn't enjoy it. I loved it. I loved the whole thing.
Is it because you didn't know what was going to happen, or?
It's because I knew, like, this episode to me felt like we're waiting to get to the point.
Yeah.
And all these Lokis to me are super interesting.
I thought you were gonna diss Gator Loki.
No, I love Gator Loki, but I love all the Lokis actually. They're pretty funny. But no, it's just like what's the creature Eliath?
Oh, Goliath. Yeah.
To see like, I understand what Eliath is, but it kind of like. It didn't have an impact for me like that. Like, the creature wasn't scary to me, and he's a Marvel character.
Yeah, I seen a design of him.
Yeah, he's definitely
he was spot on the
yeah,
design
for sure. It's just it didn't hold the same kind of like fear for me. Like, that's one of those things where they could have changed the character into like more like these shadow dark assassin things walking around taking out the Lokis, and that would have been. Maybe for me, just personally, and again, I love this episode. So I'm only doing like a rewrite of what I would like to have seen. I'm not saying that this is not a great episode the way that it was, but
because I'm gonna fight you on that.
Yeah, but for me, like, it didn't feel like they were as in danger
Yeah.
as they could have been, but that aside, again, I really, really, really do like that Marvel has leaned in to their classic. I mean, all these interpretations of Loki.
Yeah.
That or Eliath, the creature. They just really are leaning into the classics. Even stuff like this, like looking at the older Loki
Yeah.
and looking at his costume.
Classic Loki. Yeah.
Classic Loki. Okay, on the surface, it's a clown. He's hilarious looking,
Right.
but at the same time,
He's powerful.
not only is he powerful, but the way the actor plays him, and because we've now gotten so used to costumes,
Right.
that we look at his costume. I look at his costume, and it doesn't make me like, or more important, it doesn't make my kids go lame.
Right.
They just go, all right, cool.
Yeah.
It's a different costume.
Yeah, they go with it.
Yeah. So there's a lot to like about this.
Yeah,
this
and that's just
episode.
a smart way of doing it, because that's what they've been doing on most of the shows now. Like just to bring in that little cameo of how the costume looks in the
Yeah.
in Wanda and Vision.
Yeah.
They did it in the whole Halloween set, and they just brought it in like that.
Right, and
So-
and a lot of people love seeing that.
Yeah,
And yeah,
exactly.
So it was definitely a good thing
So
for
that's
sure.
just a good way of doing it.
Yeah, this place is all hilarious. So let's go ahead.
The Easter eggs.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into the Easter eggs. I'm gonna bring that
There's
up
a
right
whole
now.
bunch of them in this little spot here. Too.
Oh, I mean
with the frog Thor.
Throg.
Oh, Throg, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this whole.
When I saw that, I'm like, what is that? Because I never knew about Throg.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't?
No,
oh,
I didn't.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
All right, here we go. We're bringing up the Easter eggs.
And I wonder if that's that's Throg. Like maybe you know how Loki turns him into a frog,
Yeah.
and maybe that's that little Loki. That's the way he killed him, because he brought him here.
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
All right, let's get into it. These are all from BuzzFeed online.
BuzzFeed, let's see
So
if
we're
they
gonna
have
start
everything
with-
that I've seen.
Yeah, we'll fill in any gaps.
Yeah.
All right, so the first one, the title of the episode 5 is a nod to Journey into Mystery Comic Books. This Marvel comic series is when Thor and Loki first appeared in 1952.
Dude, I wasn't even born.
Let me see. Journey into Mystery, issue 83. The series ran the Mighty Thor stories. Loki made his debut in Journey into Mystery, issue 85. Number 2. While inside the TVA, a monitor showing the sacred timeline reads Oka Island, Nova Scotia. In real life, it's believed that treasures hidden there like Captain Kidd's missing fortune and the Ark of the Covenant and more. So I got another little Easter egg right there. Oka Island, Nova Scotia. And since the 1700s, the island has been visited by treasure hunters who are trying to prove that the various riches are buried there. But nobody's found anything yet. Number 3, if you quickly pause, you can see the Avengers Tower inside the void actually has a sign that says King.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning to you last week, remember?
Yeah, I mean, it is the Avengers Tower, but
yeah,
it's been sold.
Yeah, it's sold, yeah.
Yeah, in the comics, Tony sells the old Avengers Towers to King Enterprise and Mr. Griffin, who was working for King the Conqueror.
Yeah, I had no idea he had sold it. I just thought that maybe like
Or
it was-
remember at the end of Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had sold it to somebody, but we didn't know who.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like I don't have to mention this again, but here it is. King the Conqueror is set to make his first appearance in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So, in actuality, a tiny little spoiler, that's not his first appearance.
No.
While in the void, the Lokis...
Well,
no, it's not. I mean, officially, his first appearance, we saw it.
I know, but he's not calling himself that because he wasn't.
Well, we'll talk about it next week. Because he did say something. While in the void, the Lokis avoid.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Eliath, who is the villain, pulled directly from the Marvel comics, from the comic books. In the comics, Eliath is King the Conqueror's rival, who is accidentally set free by Ravonna Renslayer. That's in the comics, not in this one. This is the void. That's Eliath, and we're his lunch. Come on. First appearance in Avengers, the Terminix Objective Issue 1. Eliath is basically broke free of the constraints of time and wreaked havoc on everything and everyone. In the void, you can spot a giant version of Yellow Jacket's helmet.
Yeah.
From Ant-Man and the MCU. The last time we saw Yellow Jacket was when he shrunk down and disappeared. So there we go right there.
So cool when I saw that.
In the comics, Yellow Jacket also betrays the Avengers to Immortus, a version of King, the Timekeepers. The Lokis passed by Thanos' copter. This was hilarious, and this might be my favorite Easter egg of all time. In the comics, Thanos uses a helicopter to attack Hellcat and try to steal the Cosmic Cube, aka the Tesseract.
Yeah, it's spot on too.
Yeah, it is 100% spot on. It says Thanos on the side. That's awesome.
You know what? I never knew that his weapon from Endgame, that's supposed to be also like a throwback to the helicopter, even when he's doing that spin.
It's like a little homage.
Yeah.
We get our first glimpse at a Thor variant in this episode, and it's actually Throg. Yes, that would be... Oh, hold on a second. Guys, we're going to pause for a minute. I'll be right back. And we're back. Okay, we're going to continue on with... So, let's see. We get our first glimpse at a Thor variant in this episode, and it's actually Throg. Yes, that would be a frog version of Thor inside of a jar that says...
I want to see like an episode on just that.
T365. Yeah, he's inside of a jar that says T365.
Isn't that like a brand?
I don't know. Let me see. Also, Throg is trapped in a glass jar with T365 written on it, which is a nod to Thor issue 365 from 1966, and it featured Loki transforming Thor into a frog. That is so rad. And there's a Mjolnir right above him that he's trying to get to.
Right. Because he's actually able to hold it too, like in the comic books.
Yeah. In this comic, Thor aids the frogs with some help from alligators, and of course we see alligator Loki in this episode. And this moment resembles when Thor was trapped in the glass cage by Loki in the Avengers. In fact, the yelling even sounds similar if you listen closely. And Teeny Frog Thor yelling.
Yeah.
Thor yelling. I know that they lifted the audio, Chris Hemsworth, and it's him making the sounds.
Right, yeah.
Among the debris while traveling down to the Loki's hideout, you can obviously spot a version of Mjolnir, but also a bunch of lunch trays from the TVA. That's funny. Let's see here. The Lokis enjoy some boxed Rock's wine, which is wine from Rock's cart, we visited in episode 2 when Sylvie was hiding out there. Rock's cart could be related to an evil corporation from the comic books called Roxxon, which I believe personally that it is, which is also seen in the Iron Man movies. Number 12. Next to Alligator Loki's pool, you can spot a copy of The Mystery and Lore of Monsters by C.J.S. Thompson, a book which details several monsters and how some of their origins are grounded in real life. And there it is, as Alligator Loki is drinking wine.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, there
Monsters.
it is.
I saw that.
Number 13, behind Classic Loki, you can see a Polybius arcade game in the 1980s. Polybius arcade game mysteriously disappeared after it was reported that players were suffering from wild side effects like nightmares and hallucinations. That's kind of dope.
Yeah.
It's just like a weird little throwback to the 80s.
Yeah.
The urban legend says that the Polybius machines were visited by men in black who collected data from the machines right before they disappeared. The Men in Black are like some of my favorite lore. Also, number 14, also you'll notice that the Loki's hideout is inside an old bowling alley. So I'd love to think that the entire bowling alley was pulled into the void by the TVA because it housed a Polybius arcade game. But we don't know this for a fact. That's speculation.
Yeah.
The candy cane stuff is creepy. When Classic Loki tells the story of how he survived after Thanos, he calls him the Mad Titan, even though this is Thanos' nickname from the comics. This is only the second time he's been called this in the MCU. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. For some weird reason, I thought he was called that more than once. I see. And Classic Loki says, I cast a projection of myself so real, even the Mad Titan believed it. And then Guardians of the Galaxy, Gamora, surgically modified and trained as a living weapon, the adopted daughter of the Mad Titan. Thanos. You can see Kid Loki drinking a high C ecto cooler, which was released.
What's his name? Slimer.
Yeah, which was released after the success of Ghostbusters 1984 in the animated series.
I used to drink those too.
That's so funny. They got the perfect kid to
I
play
know
that.
they did.
The high C Ecto Cooler is a third discounted but beloved drink we've seen in Loki so far. Mobius often drinks Josta, and Casey drank Boku in episode 2.
Boku.
During Mobius and Sylvie's escape, you can spot a theater marquee for the Wrightsville Theater. Wrightsville, Pennsylvania was also seen on the TV timeline monitor in episode 4.
Oh, yeah, right there.
There it is. If anyone has any theories about who or what is important about Wrightsville, hit me up in the comments. This is from BuzzFeed. Number 18. One of the Loki variants we meet in is President Loki, which is taken directly from the Vote Loki comic books from 2016.
I'm just realizing there's another female there.
Oh, yeah, right there in the red?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was more than just one female.
Yeah, there should be. There should be many, actually.
Yeah.
But there he is, President Loki. The comic book series follows Loki as he tries to run for president of the United States and how reporter Nessa Contras tries to stop him from winning. Number 19, President Loki mentions that they prefer snakes to wolves, which is a nod to Norse mythology, where Loki's children include a snake and a wolf. There we go.
That looks like Green Arrow.
Yeah, seriously. Number 20, among President Loki's group, you can see a Loki that uses his hair as horns. We saw him in episode 2 when Mobius was running through the Loki variants. The TV is pruned from the timeline. He also looks like a funk master. You know, he's like that dude with the
handlebars.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's like Evil Knievel Loki.
There's so many cosplays that people are gonna do now.
Oh, there's so many. 21 President. Oh, and you know, at some point, because they do this every year with all the Spider-Mans and all the different Batman families and everything, they get a large group together and take a big group photo. So you know that it's gonna be a lit. Yeah. 21 President Loki's hand is ultimately bitten off by Alligator Loki, and in the past, Marvel has paid homage to
Star Wars,
Luke losing his hand in Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. So this could be a continuation of that tradition. To the way he screams in that scene. That's awesome. In Phase 2 of the MCU, Loki pretended to cut off Thor's hand. Bucky lost his hand and arm, and Groot also lost his hand. So these are all homages to Star Wars. Inside Mobius' pizza car, you can spot a hula girl on the dashboard. A hula girl has previously been spotted on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and was linked to Coulson and the Tahiti program. And then in WandaVision, when Darcy and Vision stole a truck. That's right. There she is again, and there she is again. She's a real villain of the MCU.
Yeah.
23.
Moana.
The USS Eldridge is suddenly dropped inside the void and swallowed by
experiment.
Eliath. The USS Eldridge was part of the Philadelphia experiment, in which the ship was reportedly rendered invisible in 1983. 24. The license plate on Mobius's car reads Grin Wide. This is a reference to Mark Grunwald. Grunwald, who inspired Mobius's likeness in the comics and also helped co-create Eliath.
Yeah, they showed an image of how that artist looked, and he looks now. Remember how we were looking for Stan Lee in the beginning? That one character in that's who he's supposed to be. Yeah, it looks like him.
25. Before Loki, Sylvie, and Mobius and the other Lokis go to fight Eliath, you can see what looks like Ronan's ship from Guardians of the Galaxy. That's right.
Yeah.
Right there on the side. Let's see. 26. When Eliath is approaching Sylvie and Loki, you can spot a statue of the Living Tribunal head. In the Marvel Comics, Living Tribunal's purpose is to protect and keep the balance in the multiverse. Yeah, that one freaked me out. Like, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I know you don't know anything about the Living Tribunal, but
I mean, I heard about it because I've seen some of these already in YouTube, and they mentioned that one too. But yeah, I don't know what
he's
they are.
a cosmic force. So there's a few cosmic forces, and he's like one of the biggest ones. So that could
be a hint for later on in the future for them to.
And you see, do you see the head, and then do you see the side to the side of the head?
Yeah, there's another head over there.
Yeah, so the Living Tribunal has those 3 heads. Yeah. 27. I've watched enough MCU movies and shows to recognize a shield helicarrier when I see one. You can see this one crashed into the void too. Yep, there it is. And 28. While causing a distraction, Loki sets fire to the sword Kid Loki gave him. This is probably a nod to Levitine from Norse mythology, which is a sword created by Loki that sometimes has a burning blade.
Which it does. Right there.
Right there. 29. As your resident Wanda Maximoff fan, this is from the person who wrote this for BuzzFeed. I have to point out that when classic Loki creates Asgard using magic, it's very similar to when Wanda created Westview.
Yeah.
Classic Loki wished he could go back to Asgard, while Wanda wished she could have a life with Vision. Nope. 30. And finally, we catch a glimpse of a mysterious city after Loki and after Sylvie and Loki enchant Alioth. And I'm losing my mind that this is probably Chronopolis, which is the home to King the Conqueror in the comics.
This is the last one?
That's the last of the Easter eggs for this one, yeah.
What? They missed one that was pretty good, too.
Yeah, tell me.
In the... if we put it back into the TV,
yeah, go for it. Yeah,
we'll start seeing it. But the airplane / helicopter of the Red Skull, it's in there. It's crashed.
Oh, they showed it on here when we saw it, but I know what you're talking. It's not the Red Skulls, but it's part of the army the Nazi army.
Well, that's
yeah.
the one that he uses to escape. Remember when they leave?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That was definitely in there for sure. I mean, it was in there in the sense of like we saw it in the when we were going through the spoiler stuff, but he didn't mention it in his. He did. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be 100% comprehensive, but
no, they have to do it all.
Every tiny little bit of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to think of any other ones. But it's just, there's just so many in this, man.
Yeah, it's to be as comprehensive as you could be. That list would have to be so long because they really packed. In my opinion, visually with this one, they really packed it like big time. Because even the next episode, the final, is a more subdued.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's more like it's about character development.
Right.
While this one is I mean, just they throw everything and the kitchen sink into this one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty fantastic, and so
now that I have all of them, I can't wait to just rewatch it.
Oh, and just go through the whole
just a little marathon of just all 6 episodes.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, this was a definitely a great episode. I give this one 5 sombreros.
Likewise, 5 sombreros.
Like with all of them.
But what was it? Again, you've said it, but I already lost it. The reason why you didn't say it wasn't your favorite one, like you enjoyed it, but you had issues with it. What was the issue again?
It wasn't so much an issue, but I like so. What didn't feel to me like
the threat,
like Elias didn't feel as dangerous to me as
I thought it was pretty dangerous just when they showed the Philadelphia experiment and you see those sailors get killed by it and the way they died. That to me that was pretty scary.
Yeah, I mean, again, I totally get it, and I get the nod, and I just look, I have to give it up because they're doing such beautiful work with all the Marvel stuff that they're linking in together.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. But for me, I feel like a greater threat would have been if there would have been these dark, like wraith-like things moving around. Because they actually, if they had wanted to, they could have brought in these creatures called the dire wraiths.
I think you're gonna say diarrhea. I'm like, no, that's
yeah.
too
They
gross.
could have brought in diarrhea for sure. No, they could have brought.
In
the Sphinx had its nose in this one.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that's pretty funny. But yeah, they could have brought in a couple of other creatures that would have been equally or more terrifying than Eliath. They could have been taking people out, as they come out through here. But again, I do totally understand why they did what they did and how why they did it that way, because it's closer to a space mission. It's closer to the comics, and it's more in line with the kind of, in my opinion, the fun that the writers were even having, creating this whole show and being able to put in so many cool Easter eggs and so many fun homages. But Elias just didn't feel as dangerous to me. That's all. But if I'm going to critique anything, that would be it.
You're probably more fear of Gator Loki.
Yeah, 100%. He's just.
Did you also say that was an homage to Captain Hook? You know how he gets.
Oh yeah. Yeah, a lot of people made that connection as well. Yeah. So, but no, just overall excellent episode. It was good to see everybody reunited. To see Loki get to see what's his face again, Owen Wilson's character, which I just blanked out on. Jet Ski Boy. What's his name in this?
Mobius.
Mobius, yeah. Just for them to reunite and see each other, and then to see, really the other thing that they did was they gave you like all the stages of Loki in this particular episode, like his development. Like, here I am as a kid, here I am as a as an adult, here I am as
his growth. Yeah, man, it's just amazing.
Yeah. So and even you stayed for the end credits of the last episode, right?
Of the finale?
Yeah.
Oh, the season 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they had spoiled that already weeks ago.
Oh, I didn't see it. Thank God. Yeah, I didn't see it. So
season 2. That's why a lot of people were kind of bummed out with that. Because a lot of people were like we knew that was gonna be. They wanted to see what's her name, I don't want to spoil it.
Oh, okay. We can talk about it next week.
Yeah.
But no, for me personally, I was it was a great episode. Just
for the finale.
This one and for the finale, both. Yeah. Just the series as a whole, I just thoroughly enjoyed. So, no, it was great.
Yeah, and I love the chemistry between all three. Like, just everybody has good chemistry in this, man. It's
they amazing. Cast this. That's one of the things that Marvel has been, I think, is their success over the past 10 years or 11 years or whatever, is the way that they cast people. That I don't know what the process is. I don't know that if it takes a long time and they bring people in to talk to one another. I don't know how that works, but they always successfully, continually cast people that play off of each other very well.
Right.
So, and the actors seem to end up really liking each other, and so they must create a cool environment. I mean, I read I listened to a story a while back that when a producer gets put on one of these shows, they clear their schedule of everything else, and that producer goes from beginning to end with whatever show or movie they're in.
Right.
So they're not spread wide between all these multiple things. Like, they're dedicated to specifically making sure that it's successful and that it works. And I think you can see that on screen. It translates over to quality.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. And however you might feel about these shows, whether you like them or not, because I read plenty of people online that get upset with these shows, and they're like, I don't like that they did this or they did that or whatever. But I would fight anybody and say that they're not trying to they work really hard at maintaining the quality up high, in my opinion. And I just think you see that on the screen. You see that in the acting, you see that in the direction, you see that in how they edit everything. They're really trying to tell this super long form story and it works.
The one thing I still don't know what they are, those little creatures that are birds with floating.
Nobody does. Nobody knows
that.
What they are.
Nobody mentions that at all. I'm just trying to wonder what are
well,
those.
well, people speculated that the writer who wrote this episode is from Rick and Morty, and so a lot of people speculate that the writer
I'm the one that said
did well, but a lot of people online speculated that he took some of his episodes
yeah.
and because they have
Merged.
weird creatures
Yeah.
in there, and just did a little homage to Rick and Morty by adding those in here.
That could, that's a big possibility.
So if it's gonna be anything, if it's gonna be meaningless, but it's gonna mean something, it might be that.
Yeah.
It might be that it means something to that dude. So, yeah. But let's well, all right. So your sombreros for this episode?
Oh, cinco
sombreros.
sombreros, which is 5.
So let's talk about how there's these two guys that are trying to take yours and mine. We have sombreros, and there's two guys that are trying to one up us and bring in their own rating system of avocados. You know what I'm talking about?
I just saw that too. I saw like
Deadpool and Korg.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
up with that? Why are they trying to steal our?
Oh, that's right.
Why are they trying to get in on?
They
on
did
our
do
thing?
the avocado thing. Yeah, that was amazing, man. When I saw the whole thing, that's such a good way
so
to like
funny.
sneak in and see, because what they're trying to see is if the audience want this, and they're getting good positive.
They don't
feedback.
even have to wonder.
Yeah.
They don't have to wonder at all. You know what it made me think though? Because I watched it and then I sent it to you guys.
Yeah.
And then I watched it last night again with my family. Like I wanted to show it to my kids because it was hilarious. Immediately after I watched it that third time, I thought, is Marvel trying to let us know or trying to prepare us to basically understand that Taika Waititi is going to be directing the third Deadpool movie? Because that would be insane.
Yeah.
Like, he has that spirit.
Yeah.
I mean, he does What We Do in the Shadows.
Right.
And, like, he's just got, like...
And I wouldn't mind seeing that. Like, if it's Deadpool, Colossus,
Korg,
and what's the other guy's name? The one with the knife.
Oh, Meek.
Yeah. Just like a little series of. Oh my gosh!
you
Like
imagine
that's
if-
the group.
Can you imagine if they took Deadpool to space?
Has he ever been in space in the comics? I want to say yes.
In the comics, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
so-
Yeah. In the comics, he's been everywhere.
Right. So,
But
they gotta just do that. Oh man.
But even if they didn't do that, even if they kept it grounded and they kept it at home or whatever on Earth, just the idea that that Taika might direct Deadpool 3 would be incredible.
Right.
I mean, they already have a good chemistry going.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously they worked together in that movie Guy.
Mm.
So that's why Korg was part of that whole presentation, was because he's the real
Right.
guy is in that movie as the main bad guy.
He's like Fringe.
We called that. I forgot what he said, but he named it something else.
Wait, did he? Oh,
Yeah.
I remember. Oh, man.
But man, that was an awesome commercial, and it was a good long commercial because the first
Yeah.
one that I found was that little clip at the end.
Yes.
But the longer one where they talk
Yeah.
about it and go through it.
And I guess he had done another one before, which was the Cruella.
I don't think he did one. I think that was
That was it.
that was them putting it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because
Yeah,
that was he's like, the heck is the dog?
yeah. It's all like a chase scene
I
and
know.
everything. Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, that was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can't wait for that. Like,
But hey, Deadpool, Corey, stay away from any Hispanic stuff. That's ours.
I know exactly.
You need a different rating.
Oh my god. What did Cork say? He said, "I was raised by a
Yeah. I was raised by avocados. He's so funny.
It's just hilarious.
Starting a revolution.
Oh, by the way, I saw it this weekend.
What's that? Which one? Which one did you see?
X-Men
Oh, Dark Phoenix.
Phoenix. Yes, I
Oh,
saw it.
What'd you think?
All right.
Oh man, I'm excited.
It was an okay movie to me. It wasn't like I didn't get emotional for any of the characters. I didn't like the Jean Grey. I don't know who the actress is that plays her, but I didn't like her acting, like the way she portrays Jean. I don't see her as Jean Grey. Um, um, I it was hard for me to like. I enjoyed certain things. I saw what they were doing, but it
I really like the action. I really like the way she was destroying people, like especially in after they free everybody from the train,
Uh-huh.
and then the aliens start coming at her, and she's just like obliterating, like disintegrating them.
Yeah.
I really like that. I really, really loved the train scene, with the big fight between them, especially Magneto, like
yeah.
just gets all of them in one train. He's like, boom, and just crushes it.
Right.
But I agree with you. The girl is actually, she's from Game of Thrones. That's
Okay,
where
I haven't
people
seen that
saw her
yet.
the first time.
Oh.
I don't like the way she portrays Jean, and I don't like the way the kid that plays Cyclops. I don't like either
Yeah,
one.
exactly.
I don't like either one of them. But I thought this movie was good enough where the story was
Cohesive.
and it
Yeah.
had a point, and it was going somewhere.
Yeah, I see the point and everything. I just
Yeah.
it was hard for
And
me
I liked it way more than a bunch of the other X-Men movies, for sure.
Yeah, like if I had to give it sombreros, I would have to give it like
Yeah, you got to give it
two
some barrels.
2.5.
All right, yeah,
2.5.
that's fair.
Yeah,
I gave it 4 sombreros.
yeah.
Just because, it to me it's way better than X-Men Apocalypse, or like X-Men the last Phoenix movie where she got killed by Wolverine. Like, just far more cohesive. The story made more sense, but it's not that movie is not the actual Dark Phoenix storyline. It's just not. So for me, I took it as a different.
Yeah. And then I also didn't like Professor X arc, like on how he did those certain mistakes of keeping certain secrets.
I like that.
But also him like he had more of an ego in this. Going for going to, how they were getting upset with him because he's going to award ceremonies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he's representing them.
Yeah.
But
I did like that. I like that they brought him down to a more human level to help you understand. And then I liked at the end that he ended up with Magneto, and they're in Europe and they're playing chess together. And then Magneto's basically like, dude, I've been there. I know where you're at. I know, how you're feeling about this whole thing with ego. Let's just try to start again. Like, it was actually for me, it was a good ending and a good arc to the character.
yeah, the only character I like from here is the guy that plays Magneto. I think he does.
Oh, he's fantastic, man.
I think
yeah.
But even Professor X, that actor, I
love him.
I don't see him as Professor X either.
I love that actor. I love McAvoy.
I'm hoping that once they reboot the series with the MCU, that I'm hoping they're gonna get
dude,
they have to get other characters.
Don't even worry. They're gonna get the perfect.
They're
gonna get the perfect Professor X. Trust me.
Because
Kevin Feige does not fail.
And again, like I just didn't like the. You called it also like last week when you said that it would have been so much nicer if Wolverine was there and Cyclops, and they're both trying to
to save her. Yeah,
because that's what.
But I was saying that for the last Dark Phoenix movie, not this one.
No, but even
in this one, it wouldn't have made any sense. It would have been gross because in this one, Phoenix is a kid,
right?
And so
no, but I'm saying like if they had because in all of these Wolverines, he does like a little cameo in one of the movies.
Yeah, but he's done. He's been done.
No, I know, but like if they would have had like another Wolverine cast.
Oh, a different Wolverine.
Yeah,
like a younger Wolverine. Yeah, that would have been.
Because that just makes more sense. But
yeah,
that's the issue that you said last time too. That they revolve it around certain characters. Like this one what's her name? What's her name?
Mystique.
Yeah. And again, like Mystique, like she she gets killed and stuff, and so they're all trying to avenge her,
right?
Her death and stuff. But it was even though she was dead, it was still kind of like based on her, like.
Well, I disagree. I mean, on this particular one, I disagree. I think that they were trying. I think that the writer was trying to fix some of the problems from the past and how they focus on things. I think that's one of the reasons they took out Mystique. They took her out so early, and I also think that's why, just my personal opinion, why the writer didn't put all the focus on Jean, but he split the time between Magneto and his tribe, Jean and what she's going
But
through,
that was
and
very
Professor
little.
and
It wasn't
Professor
enough.
X. I mean, but enough is subjective. That's just your opinion of, if you wanted more, I get that. But it's like, I'm just telling you my opinion of like how he tried his best to disperse the story out amongst, the different groups and all the stuff that's happening. I'm not saying it was a successful movie in that regard. And again, I don't necessarily like I like the actress, but I'm not in love with her portrayal of Jean Grey. I don't like that version of Jean Grey, and I don't like that version of Cyclops. That being said, for what it was, I really enjoyed it, and I was very surprised. That's the thing that was the most the reason that I gave it such a high bar is because I was really surprised by how much I enjoyed the thing all around, and how it was a cohesive story based on, and I'm only basing this on my other experiences where the story is all over the place and it's a hot mess, and you're like, we never ever got a good Wolverine story. We barely got good X-Men stories, and it just, Fox didn't know what they wanted to do with all these characters. Were they focusing on people being subjugated? Were they on people being racist against them? Were they focused on what was the focus? Was it focused on their struggle in the world? Like, it just kept going all over. But it's focused on this one dude that can heal. It's focused on this one girl who's blue. It's
and the climactic last
the final where she goes up into the sky or whatever.
Well, that to me, that's already played out. Like what she did with the alien, the female alien.
Yeah.
You've seen that in so many movies where that alien wants to get that power, and so but then they want that power, but then their body will hold that power.
Yeah.
So you see it in
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That I didn't even was thinking of. I was thinking also of Hulk, when he's like, have it all, and he's like, no, this is too much. You're
never gonna see anything original. Play it out or not, you're never gonna see anything original. What you're going to see.
I'm sorry. Marvel's done a lot of originality stuff. I mean, just looking at this right here,
nothing original. This isn't original either.
Well, I mean, you're talking about comic books, but
no.
But what do you mean?
I mean everything. Every idea gets repackaged into a new way where the way the person is. Okay, let's take John Wick for example.
Yeah,
John Wick. There's nothing new about John Wick. There's nothing original about John Wick. But after watching the first John Wick, it doesn't matter that it's not original. I mean, he's got a boss fight at the end. He's going through level. But what it is
tailored.
It's
tailored.
The way that you package the whole thing, and the way that you decide to bring your own unique style. So I could have 100 movies where the alien is being destroyed by the power that they're trying to take. I don't mind that. That's fine. Give me 100 of those movies showing that. But when you do that transfer, let me see how unique. Like, what's the take that you take from it?
And I agree with you.
Because in your the way you said it, everything is played out. Everything, every love story, every struggle.
I mean, that goes for anything. I mean, I mean, you could do that with speech. I mean, we learn a certain way of talking. Everybody talks.
Yeah.
But what I meant is, like you said, like tailoring it. Like if they would have tailored this differently,
I wouldn't call it tailoring. I think that's the wrong word. I don't think you mean tailoring because tailoring means that they're specifically creating it for a specific person or a specific type of people. Tailoring is not what you're looking for. I think what you're looking for is bringing the idea of bringing a unique twist and like, oh, I've never seen that like that before.
Well, yeah,
that's what you mean. Because tailoring is like literally you go to a tailor and you get a suit made for you. Nobody else can wear that suit because it's specifically for you. So they can't tailor how.
There's a lot of people my size.
No, there's only one Kenny. No, I think what you mean is like give it your own. Like Tarantino does it so beautifully.
Oh, their own flair.
Yeah, Tarantino has given you revenge stories,
right?
But he brings his unique Tarantino flavor. Or Robert Rodriguez, he gave us vampires and Dusk Till Dawn, and we've seen vampires a million times, right?
But again, I didn't see that in that execution. That
I agree with you. I agree. I agree 100%. Yeah.
And so, when I was, it was like I was watching it, but I was also getting turned off by it.
Yeah.
And so I was just like,
I agree with you 100%, and I don't want to disparage the writer / director because it was the same person, but I think if you get stuck at certain points,
well, it's
and
hard.
I felt like that was a moment of getting stuck in the writing.
Yeah.
Like I think at that point that's when you should reach out to other people and go, hey, this is what I'm planning on doing.
Well, it's that, but he also had a huge task of trying to fix a lot of mistakes from the past.
Yes,
and that's one of the main problems when if you
already have things stacked against you.
Yeah,
that's going to be an issue for sure.
Yeah, so
no, I agree. I agree with your, and I think 2.5 Sombreros is actually pretty good because, again, it's not It's one of the better X-Men movies, but that doesn't mean it's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's...
well, no, the one I gave it 4 was the other, because I had given one 4.
Yeah.
I forgot which one it was, but yeah.
Yeah. So, no, but I agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah. But I'm glad I was able to at least watch it, but I know you said you would have loved to seen it in the theater. I would have.
Oh, yeah, I would have totally have seen it in the theater. 100%.
Yeah, to me, it's VHS.
It's low grade. Is that old school? I don't know if you were born or alive or could. Back then when they had these, but these old tape decks that you would put into the car.
Yeah.
And they're like
they're what are they called? They're because tapes came afterwards, or it was also during. That they had tapes, but what are they called? They were thick too. They were like cartridges.
Yeah, they were really thick. Yeah.
I think one of my uncles had a car that had that.
Yeah, my dad for sure. My dad had that in his car, and he used to load it up with all the different music, and it's just they took up so much space.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nuts, dude. How far media has come when the shrinking of media like being able to
and that's crazy that they've like how we are able to now have like a dude, that's the thing to store. What is it?
Oh, hard drive.
Hard drive. Thank you. I don't know what I can think of.
Yeah, it's
like
okay.
how hard drives can now hold like terabytes of terabytes and stuff. But they've actually found out that like when you actually put like when you're downloading files into it, there's actually weight in it.
Oh yeah, I knew this a long time ago.
I thought I knew this as well too, but it just reminded me how that stuff has weight as well. It's not as heavy as, of course, as something, but it still has like.
Though, I only download megabytes. So that's very heavy. That's what I used to work out. Megabytes. Yeah. Ultra megabytes. Yeah. Everything has some weight to it. Yeah. It's inevitable. You know, it's energy. It's energy that's being stored. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. They put it like on a scale, and it's like minute. Very very little, but still, it's crazy.
Yeah. Speaking of scale, just on a totally non geek subject, we took our dogs yesterday to this. It was like a drive-through. Like a clinic, like a drive-through clinic that they where everything was way cheaper than it normally is. So we took
drive-through clinic.
Yeah, we took both of our dogs. They got shots for a couple things that they were missing.
They got the COVID.
That's right. They are now 100%. That's right. No, they did get some vaccine shots for stuff like my wife's dog when she was a kid died of this thing called parvo, I believe.
Yeah.
And she's always been super bummed out about that because I think it was preventable. They could have prevented that from happening, from the dog dying from that. But our girls, they got they got that, and then they got their nails clipped, and so then after that we took them out for a treat. But they did a really good job, and the people did a really good job, and my dogs got weighed, so like the little brown one, her name's Tootsie.
Yeah.
She was 15 pounds, and the black one 18 pounds, Mars. So, but they're tiny little dogs,
Yeah.
But that was pretty cool that the city did that.
Did you say? I think I sent you guys the clip of that dog trying to jump off the raft, and the person grabs him with the tail.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't think I saw it with you guys, or maybe one of you sent it. Because sometimes I can't remember who sends what, where, or where I see it. But I saw this like dog and a cat, and they're like the dog's like jumping, and the cat's like swiping his face, and then the dog turns real fast, like does a swipe.
Oh, and kicks him. Yeah.
And like hits it with his butt, and the cat just flies out. And the little thing at the bottom said, "I didn't see that coming." Yeah, dude. Last night I got freaked out. Well, everybody got freaked out who was in the house. My wife and I were watching the second to last episode for that show, that TV show.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I hear my dogs going crazy outside. They're just like, and I'm like, oh, they must be fighting each other, because every once in a while they get in a little tiffs,
Yeah, they get in an
so
argument.
I get up, but then I heard something else. I heard another noise, and I'm like, oh, that's not my dogs fighting each other. So I open the door real quick, and then they're both like looking at me, and then they both turn and they look out towards where my avocado tree is.
Yeah.
And I'm like listening, and I don't hear anything, and then I hear a cough. And I'm like, is somebody in my backyard?
Yeah.
And my dogs are not barking now. They're looking out, and they're scared.
Oh.
And then they both like come towards me, and then they both go into their house. And I'm like, are you kidding? Is somebody out there? So I turn on. We have these lights that hang, like down, and it creates a lot of brightness. So I turn on the light, and I'm looking. But the problem is it's a good and a bad, because it creates so much brightness that it kind of works against you.
It casts shadows.
Yeah, you can't see too deep. So I'm like,
Did you have a flashlight?
Oh, I do. I have a headlamp. A headlamp. So so then again, this is my mind playing tricks on me. Then I felt like I heard somebody like walking on the leaves.
Yeah.
Like made a sound. So I'm like, what? So I'm like, hey, I say something out loud, and I don't hear anything. And again, the dogs aren't. The thing that freaked me out the most was that the dogs had retreated into their house and they wouldn't come out.
Right.
That always makes me feel like they're telling me something that I don't know, that I can't see.
Right.
Because normally, if there's a person outside our gate, they just go crazy.
Right.
And they, know. And so I'm like, okay, there might be somebody out there. And I've got this messed up hip, like right now. But so I run back inside. I have this giant hammer.
Oh, okay.
And I wake my son up.
You're like,
yeah, seriously. Just put my hand out. So I wake my son up, and he goes, what's going on? I'm like, hey, I just need you to watch the door, like the sliding glass door that leads to the back, because I don't want anybody to come through there. So I need you to stand there and be, be
ready.
the in between.
Like,
and he's like, okay.
All that push-ups?
Yeah, exactly. It's coming to work now. So I go outside through one of the outside gates, and I had my headlight on. And I'm like looking at, I meticulously went through everything, and my wife called the cops real quick to say, hey, we might have an intruder in the backyard, but we don't know. But by the time that I got ready, put my shoes on and put everything and went through, I saw nothing. But it was the first time I thought, man, there better not be anybody in my backyard, because I'm going to have to whack somebody with a hammer.
Right.
And I didn't find anybody, but I also it did not like the way the dogs reacted. And they were looking out into, they weren't looking at me. They were looking out under the avocado tree like something's there.
Did you check up the tree? Maybe.
Yeah, I did. I didn't climb the tree, but I hit it with the light.
Oh, okay.
The other thing I was looking for was maybe a possum or some kind of animal, because I know possums and raccoons come through there. So that was my main other thing. But no, I didn't end up spotting anything. And I just sat there for a while, just quietly listening.
No, this is I want to say this is probably like 10 or maybe even 15 years ago. I was at my aunt and uncle's house in Inglewood, and it was late at night. It was like not too late, but it was maybe like 11 o'clock.
Yeah,
their back door is it's like a it's in the kitchen area.
Yeah.
And that's basically their entrance because they made they had turned the front house into like another rental house
Right,
and
right.
whatever. So we heard one of they had a dog and we heard it bark exactly like what you said
Yeah.
and then it stopped. So I went to go look, but they have like you know how there's those metallic doors that have like little holes that
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah,
like
yeah.
see through.
Yeah,
But
we
it
have
was,
one of those.
yeah, so I was looking and I'm like I don't see anything, and so then my uncle keeps hearing something. He's like, and then we were hearing also helicopters. This is in
Okay,
Inglewood.
okay.
So we're hearing helicopters like flying around. So well, not helicopter, but just one helicopter. And so my uncle has a machete. So he grabs the machete and and he takes it out, you know, and then I'm looking again, like he goes to one side, and I'm looking, and it like from here to like I want to say it was like a good maybe 15 feet, 15 feet. There's like it's like a little patio that he has it has like a roof, and there's these metallic, like it's not even a fence, it's just like two little bars, and it has like a little design of metal
Yeah.
that's holding up the
Yeah.
the roof, and then there's like a piece of wood just to create some shade. There was a black man like just standing very 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 still, and all I saw was like I saw his.
Wait, he was standing on top of the fence?
No, it was behind the thing that was holding it up, and he was just trying to stay really really still.
Oh.
And I'm looking, and I'm like,
wait, how old are you at this point? He's paused because his brain is going back.
Yeah, because I'm trying to remember.
Trying to think
It was
of
a while back. I was probably in my
teens.
probably teens or early 20s,
Okay.
maybe. I'm not sure, but I wasn't sure what I was seeing, and because I was just looking. But I see like eyeballs like looking at me back.
Kenny, I don't see color.
It was freaking Drax. He was like trying to be really still out there.
So wait, the dude saw you looking at him?
He I think he saw that I noticed him, and I was about right when I was opening.
And were you looking at him the way you're when you're telling the story right now? You're squinting your eyes and you're looking real intense. And I was like, were you looking at him like?
Yes,
that?
I was like, yeah, I was like, because I was trying to like see like, am I seeing what I'm seeing? And then I start opening the door, and my uncle was like, there's cars because there's people that are renting the back houses too. So there's all these cars, and my uncle's like somewhere between some of the cars. So I'm opening the door, and I guess the guy realized that he's been caught, and he saw that my uncle has a machete, and I had like a butcher knife, just. So I'm coming
About
out.
to cut.
He busts out running like towards the front. Now the dogs feel all brave, and they start going.
Well, yeah, because to them it's like a natural instinct of chasing down prey.
Right,
you know?
exactly.
So yeah.
So he runs, he jumps over the fence, and then we went to the front. There's cops like circling, and I guess that's what they're like looking for. And my uncle's like says, "Hey, he just jumped off." So now you hear all these cops trying to like find where he went now. So he's going from neighborhood to neighborhood.
It's crazy. Yeah, I think I told you the story, right, about somebody jumping through our glass door.
No,
I thought I told you that. Like
jumping through your glass door.
Yeah, so we used to live when I was little. So I was born in Torrance, and like Torrance is nice if you've ever been there. Like not all of it, but for the most part, it's a really nice city. But I was born there, and then my parents lived in Linwood, Southgate, South Central.
Calling you Alex of Torrance.
Yeah, that's what I baby. But my parents picked every like Compton, like Southgate. Like we lived every bad spot that we could live until we moved into Paramount, which was like, like upper, lower level ghetto. But so this happened. Man, I was little. I maybe 7, maybe 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
I'd have to double check with my mom and dad. My dad might have a better memory of it, but all I remember is sitting on my dad's lap we're watching. We're in our living room, and
Right.
and like the place that we're living in, very small, and it has a sliding glass door that leads out into the alley.
Mm.
And, you know, and it's just like
Yeah,
really bad design.
This does not ring a bell to me.
No, really bad design. And I'm sitting on my dad's lap, and we're watching this little black and white TV that is the screen is barely bigger than my iPad screen.
Yeah.
And we see, or at least I saw, like a shadow of someone outside in the alley.
Yeah.
And then the shadow like got smaller, and then all of a sudden, somebody jumps through the glass. Yeah, through the sliding glass, jumps through, runs in, grabs the TV, starts running back out with it, but it's connected to the wall. And so that causes them to like pause, stop, and their feet go out from under them, and the guy lands on his back and drops the TV. And I don't know if the TV's broken, but he's just like, he looks wild. He looks, and all this happens in seconds. My dad grabs me, puts me off to the side, reaches between the couch, pulls out this gigantic gun. I mean, crazy, like Dirty Harry style with a giant.
I just don't know why he had it in the. Like that's where the spot where he always hides.
Yeah, that's the spot where he always had.
How old were you?
I was, like I said, I was like 7 or 8, like little.
Dude, that is so dangerous.
100%. There's so many stories of danger, way more than that. I got a ton, but anyway, so he puts me off to the side. He pulls it out, and the guy sees, the guy who jumped through now saw the gun, and he takes off running. My dad steps out of the doorway into the alley, and he's just like, blah, 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 blah. Into the darkness, wherever the dude's going. Never made it out with the TV. Completely broke it. The next day, my parents we're out of here. I mean, just called the landlords and said, "Hey, this just happened. We're leaving." And we were gone the next day. We packed up all our stuff and moved. But yeah, man, it was growing up, and we moved a lot when I was a kid. Like so much so that it set in me this desire to never move. Like I don't like moving.
Right.
I hate it. I wanted like some kind of stability. So my kids have been living in the same house now for almost 12 years, and it's just, I want that cementedness of this is where you grew up, where you made memories and you grew up.
Exactly.
Because
it's hard on the kids when you move a lot and they've made an establishment of friends and then they have to restart that all over again. And,
it's not.
I remember that hit me hard a lot because we moved quite often as well, and I would have to like start all over, and I was just like, oh.
Yeah,
great.
I did not like it, man. The longest period of time that I ever spent as a kid was when we moved into Paramount. I was there for elementary school through the middle of high school.
Yeah.
So that was like a very long period. Even in that, we moved a couple times. But I managed to stay in the same junior high and in the same high school. But we moved like 3 different times. I was living a couple blocks from my wife, but I didn't know because we didn't know each other at the time when I was a little kid. So I was living by her, and then we moved to Southgate, but I continued to go to school in Paramount. And then we moved back into Paramount, and then from there we moved to Hemet.
Yeah.
And then I was in Hemet for a big stretch of time, and then, in the period that I was in Hemet, I became an adult, so I started living on my own and then came back over here. But I just, for me, the whole moving thing was just, I did not like it.
Yeah, I grew up in like Inglewood and Gardena, a little bit in Bellflower, but I don't remember too much of Bellflower.
I love Bellflower.
But in Inglewood, when I was in 7th grade, I believe I was 7th grade. Yeah, in the beginning of 7th grade, I started like kind of dating this girl there, and I had no idea she was affiliated with a certain gang.
Okay.
So when I found out, I kind of like ended it. I didn't want to be a part of that because I don't want to be
with a chola.
Well, yeah, that exactly. With that, and also I didn't want to be affiliated with.
No, I know. I'm joking about the chola. But
yeah. So she got really, upset with me, and she kind of like threatened me, like you better like kind of like watch your back and this, and I'm just like, oh, okay. So
Okay.
so during that time, I was very like bad. I was always in the principal's office. I was always picking fights, and
Right.
the reason why I think I started picking more fights is because during my elementary years of Worthington High, I got like when I moved from Roosevelt Elementary and we moved from Gardena
Yeah.
to Inglewood. I was getting picked on. I had already established friends over there, and when I came to Inglewood, Worthington, I was getting picked on a lot. Like,
Yeah.
and I was getting like.
And Mexican kids are ruthless.
Well, this was Hispanics, blacks. It was a mixture of
Everybody was picking on you?
just certain people.
Right.
I look more white, so I remember it was like there was one Hispanic probably guy, but the other ones were like three. I think it was like three black guys the kids, not guys, because they're
Yeah.
kids. And so when I went into junior high, this is before they did the whole 6th, 7th, and 8th. This
Yeah.
was just 7th and 8th. If somebody just kind of like threatened me or felt threatened, I just went at them, and I just kind of wanted to show them that you're not
Prison rules.
Exactly.
Go for the biggest guy.
Yeah,
Take him down.
exactly. So I started picking fights. I started doing all that stuff.
Right,
So
right. Just to get ahead of it.
Exactly. So I was always in the principal's office a lot, which I ended up becoming friends with them because the nurse's office is like right there. And I became really good friends with the principal too, because I was always freaking there, man.
Yeah.
So moving forward, I break up with her, and there's this kid that I wasn't really friends with, but I knew him from elementary, and his name was also Kenny, and
Kenny versus Kenny.
well, yeah, exactly. He comes in one day, and I'm in the principal because of I don't know what I did that day, but he's bleeding. He's like being up bad. I mean,
The other Kenny.
yeah,
The variant.
yeah, the variant, pretty much. And I'm like, dude, what happened? And like he was really like they did a number on him, and he's like, I got jumped and stuff. And I'm like, why'd you get jumped? He's like, yeah, some guys came and they're like, hey, what's your name? And
Oh no!
Yes.
Oh no!
yes. So I was like, what? And then in my head, I was thinking like, oh snap. So I tell my cousin Elvis, because he was a year older, so he was in 8th grade,
Right.
and so I ditched my other class.
And Elvis is down for whatever.
well, no, because like the people that beat him up were high schoolers.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and they were from that
Right.
gang. So it's to me that's just sad. Like
What's cowardly?
yeah, exactly.
That's cowardly. You were
And
in
it-
elementary school? You were in elementary school?
No, I was in
or
junior high. I was
Yeah, that's so cowardly.
yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
it wasn't even just 1-on-1. It was a group of people.
Right, right, yeah.
So I tell my cousin, and he's like, "Oh, so he told me once class is over, like we'll meet up here, and we're gonna sneak in this because we did notice because our junior high was like right here, and then there's a fence that splits up Morningside, which is the high school.
Okay. Yeah.
And our house is I live like right next to, like I could hop over the fence and I'm
Right,
at my
right.
house.
Right.
So we're gonna hop over this fence here of this neighborhood, and we're gonna go through these neighborhoods
Right.
because we saw a group of gangsters like waiting where all the kids are going through these gates.
Yeah.
Because we were just going through like holes and stuff like that to get to the streets.
So are you trying to avoid them at this point?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Because like
Yeah.
we're not gonna be able to handle.
Yeah.
It. So we go through and I remember I told my mom about it, and she freaked out. So she sets up an appointment with the principal, and the principal brings me in, and we're talking, and I tell him the situation, and I told him the scenario with the girl.
He goes, "Hey, you better strap up."
Yeah. So they bring in the girl, like we're waiting for them to grab her from whatever class she was in, and she looks at me and she's like, "Hey, like don't say anything."
You're like,
that.
"That's right, Heina. We got you."
Yeah. So we end up saying something, and I
She's like, "Don't say anything." You're like, "I'm gonna say something."
yeah, because like my life is being threatened, man. And I'm hoping
Did
that
you see
these
what they did to that other Kenny?
Yeah. So I'm hoping that they these adults are gonna figure something out.
Right. They're like, we don't want no part of this.
They didn't. So what they do,
Like-
they transfer me to a different school.
Listen, Kenny, you got to get back together with her. That's not okay.
Yeah.
That's messed up. You broke her heart.
So they had to transfer me to another school. So now I'm going to Will Rogers in Lawndale. So it was close to where I used to live in Lamoli and Gardena. So now my mom is driving me all the way over there to go to school. And the cool thing now is that the people that are going to that school are from Roosevelt, from my elementary school. So I went back to people that I
To
knew.
friends.
To friends that I knew. And I felt a little bit more comfortable because I'm like, oh, I don't have to like really like
Yeah, fight all the time. Yeah. You're not tense all the time.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, that's how Paramount High was. Tension all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you never knew when something was going to break out between you and somebody else.
Right.
Or break out, not between you and somebody else, just break out in general.
Yeah.
Or when, or when somebody was going to shoot into the school. Or it's just madness. Just pure madness.
Yeah.
Like living with that kind of tension all the time.
Yeah.
When I moved from here to Hemet and, like, people tried to welcome me over there, I was not nice. I was not cool at all, man. And it was just all of that, like, built in, like, I don't trust you, I don't like you.
Yeah.
Like, so ridiculous.
Yeah,
nuts.
so I went over there, and then I think a few months passed by, and we ended up moving back to that spot. In that
Back
area.
over close to the school.
Gardena, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
To Gardena, because my sister was going to Lusinger High, which it was also close to the school too. So
Yeah.
it just made more sense to
Yeah.
to go over there. But yeah, man.
Madness.
It was crazy back then. Like you don't really see too much of that
Now? I don't know. I don't know because I'm so out of it because my kids go to a small school. Yeah,
Yeah.
they go to and even not only is it private, but it's also very small. So
Mhm.
everybody gets to know everybody very well, and everybody like my kids are all in sports and music and all that.
Yeah.
So it's just like the environment and the culture is so different than what I grew up with that I can't imagine my kids ever having to deal. I mean, I'm sure there's pressures that they deal with,
Right.
for sure, because kids are kids, and kids are always gonna have a little bit of drama, no matter what. But
Yeah.
it's just a different thing,
Right.
So it makes perfect sense. But anyway, man, that's our time for today. This has been Loki talk. This has been Loco talk. This has
Yeah.
been
A little bit of everything, man.
But,
Workout and everything.
Hey, you guys, thank you
Yes.
once again for listening. Thank you for shooting us up recently
Yeah,
in the
love
numbers.
y'all.
We really appreciate that. And just if you guys have any advice. Oh, we got a movie recommendation from a friend of mine who's a listener.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to bring that up, and you and I are gonna have to watch it. It's a horror movie that he said was really good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he really, really dug a lot. So we'll have to check that out.
But you're not into horror. You're scared.
I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind horror. I like suspense. I just don't really dig gore. Even the show that we're watching, where like what's the name is killing people left and right.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just not my cup of tea personally.
Right.
But hey, again, thank you guys. Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're on everything for Hispanerds, and then Kenny has got Kengi Art.
Kengi Art.
And Kengi Art.
Correct.
And Instagram, and same thing with me, Alex Dinigas Art. Thank you guys again so much for listening. Please eat your vegetables, drink your water, and enjoy the rest of the week. And we will talk to you later.
Adios.
Adios.